I hope you guys can see my screen. So today we're going to start with the introduction to Jupyter Notebook. We're going to have an overview on the features of Jupyter Notebook. Then from there we'll proceed to Google Colab. Google Colab is the same as Jupyter Notebook, but now Google Colab is cloud-based. We're going to look into it. We have an introduction to Google Colab, how to select a runtime in Google Colab. That's the environment of the GPU, TPU. And then we'll see on how to upload files to Colab. Then loading a drive as a folder in Google Colab. And also, of course, on how to share your Colab node. Then I'll have an introduction to Python now. Python itself will start with native data types in Python. So we start. Anyone who was not yet installed? Yes, Kennedy, yes, I'm recording. Anyone who was not installed the Anaconda? I think by now all of you guys should have installed.
No, Tony. Sorry,
Yes.
I have installed it, but I just wanted you to help me to. I don't know. Is it?
Open
I don't know what to use
the notebook.
exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Come again.
I'm saying I don't mind sharing my screen. I've installed the package,
Okay.
but I think I have an issue with opening up the notebook. I was trying to follow up the recorded class, but it's not helping me.
Okay. I'm still going to open it up again. Hope you'll follow.
Okay.
Yes.
I will.
I
Yeah.
haven't opened it up on my side. You can see my windows are only the calendar and the Meet class in the browser.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So you go to your Windows icon on the taskbar.
Mm-hmm.
After clicking there, you search in Anaconda prompt. Once it has come up, you enter, of course, or click on open. Then you wait for the CMD to load the line. After there, and then you'll have to type in Jupyter.
Tony, if you don't mind, can I please share my screen? Because I don't know why I feel like my screen is a bit different from yours.
Okay, share your screen.
Is my screen visible?
No.
Not yet. Okay. What about now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm sharing the window. Should I share the entire screen or?
Share the entire.
Okay. I don't know why it's not giving me the prompt to share.
Go to the option of the entire screen, then go to the option of the entire screen after clicking there, and then this big a small window. There's a small window that
Yeah, so the
comes.
small window is not giving me the it's giving me like a superficial share or cancel, but it's not giving me that I can highlight share.
Click.
It's at the back end.
You
I
have
don't
to
know. It's
click
like
it first.
it's I can't click. I can't kind of like click it. It's not clicking.
Okay, then share the window. Yes, Belinda.
Okay.
Naomi, I think you can if you select that screen, then you click the share button. When you select the screen, it will give you that option. It
So
Yeah.
that share button is what is not
enable you to share.
clicking. The
Yeah, you
share
have to.
button is
Yes, like
not.
you see the screen that you want to share. You
Mhm.
tap on that screen, and then that share button will turn blue, so it enables you to share it.
Yeah, sure.
So do I touch on the Anaconda Navigator or downloads?
No, no, at your Google Meet.
Okay, I'm gonna do the
Yeah.
Google Meet.
Then share.
Share.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. I think you've shared the entire
That's
screen.
okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
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 Mm-hmm.
So go to Windows. Click on your Windows icon.
Mm-hmm. Jupyter Notebook or Anaconda?
You've not shared your entire screen. You've only shared the
That's the
window.
thing I was saying. Exactly, that's what I was saying. I was saying when I'm trying to share the entire screen, it's refusing. But if I share a window, it's accepting. I don't know if there's someone who's not
Okay.
installed. I can follow through them, maybe.
Ah, Okay. Go to
Okay, just
your
a second.
go
I
to your
think
Windows.
it's accepted now. Tell me if it's showing my entire screen.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Yes, it
cool.
is.
So I do my Windows. I hope you can
Mhm.
see that. Should I go to Anaconda or
Okay.
Jupyter?
Okay. Once you're there, now search in Anaconda prompt.
Okay.
Yeah. Anaconda
Prompt.
prompt. Prompt. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Once you're
Mm-hmm.
there, now type in Jupyter space notebook. Space notebook.
Like that.
Enter. Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
Okay.
Select your browser. Select your browser first. The one that you wish to use. Okay. Yeah, you've created. Okay, when now you want to create a notebook, go to new. New is beside the upload button on your top top right.
To write new.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
new. Select Python. Python kernel. And there is your notebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I need to use.
You can use the other one. Go to Anaconda. You had already launched the Anaconda. The Anaconda
Is
itself,
that the
the one
one?
with the green icon. Yeah. Cancel. Cancel the login. Okay. Then you could go to Jupyter Notebook and launch. You click on the launch button. Can you see Jupyter Notebook?
Yes, I think I have clicked on the launch button.
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah. Then it's the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to work faster, you just do it through the prompt.
Okay. So I'm okay. My launch is everything. Everything
It's okay.
is okay.
Everything is okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, okay. Let me share my screen now. Jupyter notebook. Let's wait for mine to open up. It is. I'll go to new. Okay. So now I'm going to explain each and every aspect of the toolbar. So the file, when you click on file, you're able to open a new notebook. You're able to go back again and open a new notebook from that point. When you click on open, which is this one, you can also make a copy. You can save as, you can rename, you can save checkpoint and checkpoint. You can also revert to checkpoint. By reverting to checkpoint, it's whereby the last time you had saved and closed your notebook, you want to go back to that point. So you lose everything else. It will even prompt you to whether you're sure you want to revert. You want to undo everything. So under file also, you can also click on the print view. The print view basically will give you on how to your notebook without all the headers. It will basically just turn off the header toggle and the toolbar toggle. So you'll have like a print view of your notebook. Going down, you can also download your notebook as HTML, LaTeX, Markdown, notebook, as a PDF, as a Python.py, and all. You can also close your notebook from this point, which is close and alt. Moving forward at edit, you can cut your cells. You can copy your cells. Maybe you want to do more of the edit of your cell. A cell is this point. This is your cell. This is your cell. This is another cell. This is another cell. That's another cell. So maybe you want to, like for example, you've been able to define, let's say, age is equals to maybe 20, and you've been able to print out your age, and also you've had like a name is equals to, let's say, Tony. You've called out name. Oh, okay, that's a string, so it should have double or single quotation mark. Okay, so we've had Tony and name, and you want to cut this cell and have it on top of the other. You can use the keyboard shortcut, which is Control X, or you can come to edit and cut cell. You can also merge the cell above. By clicking on the merge the cell above, you have to select the cell that you want to merge. Then you will come to edit and merge, and it will have merged your cells. Merging is for joining. You can also merge below. You can move the cell up. You can move the cell down. You can edit notebook metadata, find and replace. Okay. So we have also the view part of it. The view part of it, it's the same as when we were trying to have the print view. So when you come to the view part of it, you can decide to toggle the header. It will have lost it that way. You can turn it on and off. You can also the toolbar, and we'll have like a print view of your code. You can also turn them on by clicking there. You can also turn them on. So under cell, you can run cell by itself. Also, you can run cells and select below. You can run cells and insert below. You can also run all above from whichever point you had selected the cells that you want them be run above to be executed. You can run all below. You can also decide on the cell type, whether it will be a code, whether it will be a markdown, whether it will be a row and be convert. So when you have it as a code, the Jupyter Notebook will interpret it as a code, and it will execute that whatever information you have in your cell using the Python rules, which is the case sensitive and assigning of variables. When you have it as a markdown, it will interpret it as maybe a header of your notebook, or some more information or point outs. When you have it as a row and B converter, it won't do anything. When you print, it will just give you the output that way, the way you had typed your information in the cell. Also, by changing the cell type, you can come here. You can also change it from here, which is the code, markdown, row and B convert, and also as the heading. Questions up to that point before I could proceed? Am I too fast?
I think you are good from my side. I don't know about other people, but I think you are good.
Anyone? Am I too fast? Okay, let's proceed. Okay. So moving forward, we have the kernel. The kernel is yes. You have a question? Wait a minute. Yes, Mr. Michael.
I'm just maybe I'm thinking ahead. These things you're typing, are we also going to get a chance where we should be typing the same and running, or the type is supposed to be trained the same from our end?
Yeah, I will. We've not yet started coding. I'm just trying to explain what should our cell can. I was trying to explain how to merge a cell information of different cells to one cell.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it was just a simple explanation. But now I have to do it the Python way, because Jupyter is running under the Python environment. So I couldn't have had anything in, just an explanation. What I did there is just I had defined the variable age and assigned it the data 20. Then print age, it's the way of calling age, the way of calling your variable to be printed for an output to be displayed. Okay. We're first going to go through the rules of assigning variables and all. We've not yet started with Python, with the native data types. I will start from there. Are we okay, Michael? Are we on the same page?
Yes, we are, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. So the kernel button, for example, you're running your cell, and maybe you've noticed an error and you don't want the console to display for you the error. You can interrupt and correct the error and rerun. You can also restart your kernel. The kernel is this point right here. This is the kernel part of it. So you're working under Python 3. This is our kernel. You can also restart and clear outputs. You can restart and run all. You can reconnect, and you can also shut down your kernel. You can also change your kernel. For Jupyter Notebook, we are only able to work with Python, but I'll show you in Google Colab, whereby you can select either Python or R. Then we have widgets. Widgets are any maybe add-on information which you want to add into your cells. Then we have the help, which is the user interface tour. It will guide you. It's just a documentation how to guide you. And also you have all the Python references, the NumPy library, SciPy library, Matplotlib library, and references, and also about Jupyter. Jupyter Notebook. On this other side of the toolbar, we also have the save and checkpoint. We have the add icon for inserting cell below. We have the cut icon for cutting selected cells. And also the copy icon for copying selected cells. We have also the paste cells below. We have also the arrow pointing upwards for moving selected cells up, and also the arrow for pointing downwards icon for moving selected cells down. And also like I have the play button. This one is used to, when you click it, you run your cell. Like for example, when I select my cell, which is this one, and run, I will have this output. Then you can have the interrupt the kernel, the restart icon, and then yes, a question, just ask.
Yeah, so I was interested to know, can you run a part of a cell,
No, you can't.
especially for this scenario whereby the linear merged?
Oh, so for example, you want to run only Tony,
Yes.
or you will make sure that you've not called age, so you'll have to delete this part. As long as the print age or the print function is there, it will have to run it. So when we get excluded of it, that's what you get. Yeah. Otherwise, every
we
information.
had maybe like occupation,
Mhm.
maybe let's say like occupation banker, and there's
Okay.
no print
Occupation is
equals to like banker,
banker.
and then maybe you call like occupation.
Then I
Then
just
you
call
call
occupation.
up. No, maybe below that banker, or
Mhm. Below the banker,
yeah. So like see, you see the way name is equals to Tony, then name down there,
we
and
call
then you do
occupation.
like we call
Yeah,
occupation.
we will only get an output of occupation.
What if we have occupation and name?
Occupation and name, you'll have to run them both. So it will be print.
Okay.
It will be, you print your occupation. Then you'll have to again print name. Get the output
All right.
banker, Tony. Yeah, we'll go through it.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, moving forward, also we have this icon right here for restart the kernel, then rerun the whole notebook with the dialog, of course. I'd already explained this one. So let's say we have the row NB. Let's say we want to execute this code right here to be row NB. We can have like my first Python class. We won't do anything to it. It will just be displayed that way. But you have a code and you also want that information to be displayed, then you'll have to comment. In Python, we comment by starting with the hashtag, then your comment, so that when you run, it won't be interpreted as a code and we won't get any error. But when you leave it that way, the compiler will interpret it as a code and you'll get an error. In this case, we're getting like a invalid syntax error. So you'll have to comment starting with the hashtag and then you run. Okay. So markdowns are usually used to create paragraphs in your notebook, have headers and all. You can also have an header by clicking on the heading part of it. You can say here plus, and it will print. So there are different types of headers. We have heading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll only get this by clicking the open the command palette. And it will also have everything else that is entailed in the toolbar. A question up to that point? Any concern, add-on? Yes. Anyone? Any? Are we on the same page?
Yeah, no, all good.
Huh? Come up again.
All good. No issues.
Okay. Naomi? Okay. Let me proceed to the Colab. So Colab is the cloud-based one. Okay, one more last thing. So for the notebook, let's say we want to upload data to our notebook. Let's say we have like a CSV file. You'll start first by defining your path. After defining your path as a variable, then you'll assign the path of your data in your local machine. So the common one used is df. Df means data frame. This is the common one, but you can have your own choice because it's a variable. I will go through the rules for naming variables. If you don't use the reserved keywords, the special words, the special keys like @ hashtag, the $sign, percentage, they are not used when defining variables. So like let's say I want to access my data. Let's say df is equals to, then provide the file path. The file path in between here. That's all. Because in Google Colab, you'll first start by mounting your drive. After mounting your drive, you'll proceed now to accessing the information in your drive. But for Jupyter Notebook, you just this is the only way that you do it. We'll do it. This is the syntax of doing it, but we'll do it together again when I have data. When we'll be at that point of doing an exploratory data analysis, which is the EDA. Okay. So let me move forward to Colab. I don't know which notebook I was using. Okay. So Colab is the cloud-based one. For Colab, you'll have to type in Google Colab in your browser. Then after running your Google Colab in your browser, you'll come and take the colab.google link. Then you have to click on it. Then you'll get the option of starting a new notebook or open a Colab. For our case, we just want to work with notebook. You start new notebook. Wait for it to open up. So once you're here, the first thing you have to do is you have to connect first to be assigned a RAM and a storage. You have to connect your Colab notebook first. Once you're connected now, some of the toolbar buttons are the same like for the Jupyter notebook. which is like locating drive. Now locating drive is when you want to locate your Colab notebook in your drive, the one that you had saved. Then you can open in playground mode. Open in playground mode, whatever that you'll be doing in your playground mode won't be updated on your main Colab notebook. That's why you have the option of turning it off. After turning it off, you again go back to the reset version of your main notebook, the one that has no updates from the playground mode. Then you have the option of starting a new notebook. You can open notebook. You can also upload a notebook. You can rename your notebook from here, like this, for example. You have to rename your notebook, and when renaming your notebook, it has to be .ipynb. So we can say here Python, then enter, then it will be .ipynb. So you only exclude half part of it, but the .ipynb part should be there. Then you have to move. You can move your notebook. You can move your notebook to trash. The option of locating your notebook in Drive is the same as the one that you have to save a copy in Drive for you to open it again from your Drive. You can save as a GitHub gist. You can also save a copy in GitHub. You can also have the option of saving it from here, or you can have the Ctrl+S shortcut. Save and pin revision. You can also have it as a Ctrl+M+S. Then revision history. Then for the disadvantage of Colab notebook is that you can only download it as a IPYNB file or a .py file. But you could see here in our Jupyter notebook, you can download it as HTML Markdown as a notebook.ipynb, which is also provided for the Colab notebook. You can download it as a PDF via HTML for you to share whichever way you want to share it. Okay. You can also print your notebook. The edit, Colab doesn't have much to offer, but it's the same as I explained in a Jupyter notebook. You can also view your notebook in Colab. There's a table of contents, notebook info. Notebook info will give you the size and the owner's notebook. Yeah. And also your collaborators. Then you can have the executed code history. You can also click there and have your executed code history. You can show / hide code. You can also show / hide output. The showing / hiding, for example, the output is for when you're working with many cells of the notebook, and we want to have you don't want to keep on scrolling so much, because sometimes you can have outputs that display a lot of information, but now you don't want all that information. You want to just check on your notebook codes. You can also hide. Also have insert. You can insert code cell. Instead of going to your tool navigation bar for you to insert maybe another cell below it, preferably when I use Colab or Jupyter notebook, I shift, then I enter to execute my cell, and also by shifting and enter and clicking enter at the same time, the notebook is able to generate for me a new cell below the executed cell. Let's say, like I'd said, name is equals to Tony. Now I want to move to the next cell, but I don't want but I don't want again to go to the toolbar navigation again to click so that I can create another new cell. So what I do, just shift enter, it will run the cell and it will have created for me another cell below it, a new one for me to work on it. So shift enter is the shortcut again. So it's a keyboard shortcut for you to have a new cell below the executed cell. Okay. So moving forward, so here we have the runtimes. When you have uploaded your notebook, also when you're working with a notebook that has external data, like the one, for example, from the drive, you'll have to run again. So here you have the option of run all, meaning run all the cells. Run before will run all the cells before that cell that you had selected, and run the focus cell, which is specific, maybe this one. Then you can come to runtime and you can run the focus cell. It will only run that one. Then we have also interrupt execution. You can also restart your runtime by even using the Control+M shortcut. Then you can restart and run all, which is your runtime again. You can disconnect and delete the run. So at this point, we have now the change runtime type. So you remember in Jupyter Notebook, we only had Python, but now in Colab, you're able to select either Python or R, depending on your specification on how you want to work with the notebook. Then also here for Colab, we are privileged to have the GPU and the TPU. You can decide on your hardware accelerator specs. Yeah. Then after doing that, you'll have to save first before using your notebook. For Jupyter Notebook, it will only allow only R. Okay. There's not much again here. So you can also have the command palette by clicking on Control+Shift+P. Okay. So the advantage of Google Colab again, you are able to share. You can share your notebook by going to your top right, beside the setting icon. You can come here. You can add people and groups, or you can opt for the link. But now you can also decide. If it's restricted, you can provide the emails of the restricted personnel or anyone with the link, and they will be able to follow your notebook in real time. Whenever you're updating, they'll be refreshing and getting the real-time information you're also having on your side. Okay. Any question up to that point? Anyone I've left behind? Yes, Kennedy, you can ask.
Okay, I wanted to ask also, so can we also download the Google Colab, or we can just work on it on our window?
For the Google Colab, it's cloud-based. Google came up with this type of cloud-based compiler. So just in case maybe you're not with your laptop and you need to work, you can borrow. Instead of downloading an account and all that in someone's PC, personal computer, someone could feel offended or something, or maybe you could be short of a disk drive. So for Colab, you just go to the browser, you type in google.colab, open it, and you start working. And then the advantage of Google Colab is you can mount your drive. Then after mounting your drive, you can retrieve your data from your drive and work on it. So for example, let me show you on how to mount your driver. So for example, you have to we will have to import the pandas library because it's the one that we'll be using to read the data. So you start with import pandas as PD. After importing pandas as PD, you'll now come down and mount your drive. So mounting the drive is from google.colab import driver. After importing your drive, now you mount your drive, which is drive.mount is single quotation mark /content/drive. Then it will prompt you to choose which kind of drive you want to use. Just connect to Google Drive. Currently, I only have one, or I can use another account. I can decide to sign in and use another. Then I will have to allow. After allowing, now you can work. You can work with the data that you're allowing. So for you to work with the data, you can opt to have maybe a variable path is equals to pd.read. Remember the pandas we were importing, now we're using it to read the data, which is PD. We imported pandas as PD. So our path is equals to pd.read. So the variable path will have stored the data from the drive, which is pd.read underscore CSV CSV. Now you provide the path where your data was located. So you have all this. You'll have to have all this part here. Then you add my drive, then the file name, the way you had saved it in your drive. So we'll just have again single quotation mark or double, whichever. So content / we have a drive / we have my driver / and I have I think I have city underscore temperature data in my drive, something like that, in my drive, which is saved as .csv. Then I run my no such file directory. I think I have I don't know. Yes, just ask. Okay, I think I have credit card. Credit. Let me check. Just a minute. Let me check. I think I have credit. City underscore. Yeah, should have city underscore temperature. City. See. Okay. I will have to upload data and then I will. Seems like I had deleted the data, the ones that I have in mind from my drive. But this is the syntax.
I think you're misspelling the name temperature.
I'm misspelling temperature. Oh. Still, I'm having. Yeah.
There's an E after P.
There's an E. Yes. I think I have that date. Okay, so it has run. Then you have to run path. Remember, path is where we had stored our data. So we have path. Yeah. So this is our data. So this is how you're going. But when you're working with a notebook, when you're working with a Jupyter notebook, you don't have to mount your drive. You'll only import your pandas library, which is a speedy. Then define your path. The way I've defined my path, the way it's saved in my drive. Questions? That's how you upload data into notebook. Yes, you can ask.
Mine is more like, by the way, maybe you can answer me at the end of the class. I just wanted to know what exactly GitHub is, because I had seen you can save onto a GitHub, and I've been seeing that name around, and I just don't know what exactly it means.
GitHub. GitHub is a social network for developers. Maybe you have something you worked on. So GitHub offers you the platform to upload your data. You can upload your code. It can be a web developer. It can be an Android developer. Then we have things like repositories, whereby you can pull the code from there. You can clone. Also so that you can work on the code on your side. Also, GitHub provides us the platform to collaborate. We can be collaborating, and everyone is working on different tasks for the project. So we will be having like a common platform where we'll be updating our project. That's GitHub. Yes.
Shall we need one for this? Like, should we open, I would say, accounts or something like that?
You don't need one. You don't need, but for your own projects, yes, you need. Because where will you be? Well, in case, for example, if you are applying for a job, some developers will ask for your GitHub account. See, because GitHub keeps progress. So there's these markers which are in green and a blank when you don't log into your GitHub daily. They're blank, but when you log in daily, it gets green. And when you've done something, maybe you've uploaded a new project, it will also record that. So your developer who is going to hire you can see how often you are with your practice of skills and your competency from the kind of projects you've uploaded there. Have I
Thank you.
answered your question?
Yes,
But
thank
for
you.
this class, we won't need it. It's a by the way. It's just like Colab offers you the option of just pushing your code there directly for your whatever notebook you've been working on. Okay. So like I had said before, path isn't used common. So the common way is DF, which is a data frame. So you only get DF. So you only use DF even in your class. So it's DF, which is data frame. I'll show you how to convert a dictionary into a data frame later on when we'll be tackling dictionaries. Questions? Anyone? Anyone? If you're working if you're working on a complex project, the disadvantage of Colab it may crash at some point. So that's why you'll need to upgrade maybe to Pro, the paid version. You have to subscribe. That's the only disadvantage of colab, I think, so far. Okay, I think now we can start on Python now. Unless there is a concern or a question. Okay. So Python is case sensitive. It's a case sensitive programming language. This means that Python distinguishes between uppercase and lowercase letters when it comes to variable names, function names, keywords, and other identifiers. So keywords, so like reserved words, maybe like the if. You can't name a variable as if, because if else is being used in Python as a function. So if is a function in Python. So the rules for naming variables in Python, you have to have first valid characters. Valid characters, it means by variable names can contain letters, that is both uppercase and lowercase digits, and underscores. So you can have, let's say, variable like I think you can have, let's say, yeah, variable underscore 1 is equals to class. You can only have that one, but you can't have, like, let's say, one variable is equals to class. You'll get a syntax error. Okay. So Python is also case sensitive as one of the rules for naming variables, which is Python is case sensitive. So you use like my underscore var. You can also use let's say my underscore var, that is valid. You can have, let's say, you can have it as let's say, my underscore var, also valid. You don't use the reserved words in naming variables in Python, so you cannot use the if, the else, the while, for, def, class, import, and many more. Special characters, the only special characters you can be using is like underscore, but you can't use at, you can't use the exclamation mark, you can't use the hashtag, and you can't use the $sign. Okay. So you also use meaningful. Yes.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi,
Dennis.
Tony.
Yes.
A question.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Are you doing just an overview, or you're supposed to actually do what you're doing? Because I tend to just not sure whether to I think for our purposes for the class,
Uh-huh.
is this an overview, or this is what we basically need to do as you showing us so that we actually get something out of it?
Yeah, I'm showing you so that you can get something out of it. Like you can only, like this cell right here, I've shown you now you can name a string using the variable underscore 1. I'll show you now to name strings.
Okay. Okay. I'm asking,
Mm-hmm.
will we be doing this later, like in around this, or this is just an overview, something
Yeah,
like that? Because
it's part of the knowledge. It's part of the knowledge.
okay.
Yeah. You're worried?
Not really. Okay. For a first timer,
Yeah.
who is interacting with
Sure.
Python
Fine.
for the first time,
Ah.
it seems following up might be not as easy, because some of these things you actually need to try to see what happens when
No,
you're
it's
running
okay.
maybe a variable.
It's very like naming a variable. Now I'm trying to
No, I'm
give out
saying
the rules.
whatever you're running here,
Mm-hmm.
somebody might even want to try and do from our end.
Yeah.
But since we don't have the data part, something like that, I was just wondering whether is this just an overview and we'll do something around it later.
I'll give out an assignment for it. Then you can practice. And also share the notes. I had scribbled down notes for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I'll type them, then I will share.
okay.
Okay. So like, for example, here, Dennis, I was trying to explain, you can't name like a variable. Now this is the variable. It can be anything. It can be, let's say, fruits. It can be, let's say, fruit. Fruit is equals to orange. You see, when we run the fruit, we'll get the display, we'll get the output orange. But now, for this definition of this variable, we can't name it as, like, let's say, like 1 fruit is equals to orange. We'll get an error because we will not follow the rules for naming variables in Python. But if you want to use 1, you can only use 1 after. It can be fruits 1 and it will run, or it can be fruits underscore 1. Yeah, fruits underscore 1 is equals to orange. Now, when you run fruits underscore 1, you'll get the output orange. Have I answered your question? Dennis? Hello?
Yes. It's okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we start. We start with data types. So in Python, we have the main data types, which is numeric. We have the sequence type. We have the type. We have the set types. We have the Boolean. Then we have the mapping type. The text type, it's like the string. Like in this case, this is a text type. Okay, it's a string. And when naming a string as a data type in Python, you'll have to use the double quotation mark. Opposite to it's the opposite to integers. For integers, you don't use double quotation marks, but for characters like the text characters, you have to use the double quotation mark or single quotation mark. So you had seen earlier when I was trying to name the variable age to 23, I didn't use the double quotation mark. That's why when I was calling age, I was able to get the output 23. But when I was naming the fruit underscore 1 or fruit 1, I had to use the double quotation marks, so that when I'll run fruit 1, I will get the orange. I won't get a syntax error. I'd followed the rules for naming variables in Python. Okay, so we'll start with numeric data types. I'll start a new notebook. Okay. So when starting a new notebook, I want to have it as a text above. So for colab, you'll come here around the center. When you hover your mouse around there, your cursor, you'll get the option of code or the option of text. Now in our case, I want the text. I'll have to double click, delete this one, and I'll take the text one. Then I'll have my notes here. Let's start with the hashtag. Hashtag, I'm using hashtag to define it as an header. So then I'll have data types. You see right here, it has been defined as an header. Same to the Jupyter Notebook one. We were using Markdown. When you noticed, Markdown already had an hashtag. So I'll have some bit of notes. Do you guys prefer I share the notebook, you be updating on your side, or do you prefer like I go bits by bits as you also do it on your side? Which one? Which one do you think is the best for us? Suggestions. Any which one will work better for you? Should I share the notebook?
I personally feel it's better if we follow along by
Along,
typing in the same stuff in our own notebooks while
even when
following in class. But I think it remains on preference for everyone.
okay, so even when I'm making notes, like I should be giving you time to also record whatever I'm typing.
I'm using two screens, so I'm doing it while you're
So for you it's
talking.
better. Okay. Anyone else? Suggestions before I move forward? Dennis, which one do you prefer? Ken?
See, for me, I also prefer as we do it as you do it, and because that helps us in it's more of a practical session than theory.
Oh, yes. I will share the documented notes I had for you guys, but now like moving forward, I want to know if I share the notebook so that you'll be following remotely, like you refresh and you get the output I'm getting on my side, like the interface I'm updating, you're also getting the same. Or I go bits by bits as you guys do it on your side, so that in case you encounter an error, you are able to share your screen and we sort out the error. That's what I'm trying to say, yes.
I think that approach would work best for
There are no
everyone.
notes, it's more
Everyone follows
practical.
along.
Everyone to follow along. Okay, we proceed then. So we start by naming our notebook. So it can say here data types. After naming, you can have a bit of notes. We can say data types. Yes, a question. Yes, Dennis.
Hi, Tony.
Yes.
Okay. Can we have to do it through the Google Colab, or we can do it on the Anaconda?
You can also do it on the Anaconda one. The Jupyter Notebook. They're the same.
Okay.
They're the same. Same thing. But from the previous classes, some codes will run on Colab and some won't run on Notebook. I think 1 or 3. Also, when we move forward to slices and dictionaries, I noticed with the previous class, some they were not displaying anything, and we couldn't get the reason as to why. The only reason I prefer a notebook is it's because it's more friendly, it's more user friendly as opposed to the Jupyter Notebook one. So that's why I prefer Colab. But I'll be updating
Okay.
both. I'll be just taking the information from here and pasting on the other side for you to see if you're getting the same output. Yes, Mr. Michael. Dennis, you can mute. Yes,
It's
Mr.
okay.
Michael. Yes, Michael.
So I've not heard what you've said for the last 1 minute or so because Dennis was unmuted, so I cannot pick anything that you've said.
Okay. So Dennis was asking if we could be using the Jupyter Notebook, the one for Anaconda, or Google Colab. And I answered his question by saying that I'll be picking information from either Jupyter Notebook or Colab because I'm required to train you guys on how to use both. So on how to you guys to use both, I'll be if I start by using Jupyter Notebook as the start of the class, I'll be taking the same information in the cells and pasting it in Colab. So whichever platform you choose to use, so that you can compare if you're getting the same output, the same executions of the code. Is that okay? Mm. I'll be using both. Okay. But I had noticed some of the codes couldn't run. So we'll get to know why. They weren't giving any syntax error, but one or two. But again, the other guy was using a MacBook, so I don't know if the same will affect us with Windows because I'm a Windows Pro. I don't know much about MacBooks, which is the iOS one. Okay. Any other question or concern? Okay. Naomi? Yes, Benson, you had unmuted.
Yeah. Maybe on the Colab,
Mm-hmm.
there's something you said about the connection bit, like you need to have a RAM and something. Is it a must, or I can go straight away to file and be able to write my codes?
You can go straight. Let me show it to you like practically. Let's say here, I'm not even connected, but you can disconnect. You can disconnect and delete runtime. Yes, sir. But maybe I have my code as, let's say, can use this one, the common one, edge is equals to 34, and I want to run. You can still run, but in the background, it will have to connect it first. You can see it's connecting before it displays for you because it's cloud-based. After connecting, it will start working. It's not a must you go the manual way. You can just start working and it will do all that work for you.
Okay.
Yeah. It will still work. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So now we can have this down. We can have these small notes down. We can say that data types is the classification. Of the data you are storing. So this small note, I will share the notebook. So this classification, so tell you what operations can perform on your data when you run. So like I've said, we have numeric. Under numeric, we have integer and we have float. We also have complex numbers. So we can start with integers. We can start with integers. We have integers, which is under numeric. So for integers, integers are just numbers without decimals. Once it has a decimal, it becomes a float, just a whole number. We can have comments. In Python, we make comments by starting with the hashtag, and you can say integers. Let's say all numbers. And how do you check for an integer? You check you check whether it's an integer or a string, or you can check a data type by using the type parenthesis function. So basically, you can start with type, then you have to have your parenthesis, then you can have anything in between the parentheses. Let's say we can have 2 to tell us which type of data type it is. It's an int, meaning it's an integer. Okay. You can also have like a type. You can also have like, let's say negative 5. Let's say negative 5. Still an integer, regardless of it being a negative number. Okay. So in case of you've gotten like an operation, let's say addition, subtraction, or multiplication, but you want to know the output, whether it's an integer, still use the type function, the type, and maybe your operation was 2 plus 3. The output, we all know it's 5, but it will give you the integers, the output. Okay. So let's check for floats. Check for floats. For floats, we can have, let's say, type, and let's say 9.5. We'll have it as a float. Questions up to that point? That's how you check for a data type. Anyone? Okay. So you already have like a defined data type in mind, and that data type, it's stored. Let's say in a variable x. So let's say x is equals to 8.9. We both know that 8.9 is the float, but we don't know whether which type of data type is x. So x is 8.9. When you run x, this is the output you'll get, 8.9. But now I want to know the data type of x. So it will be type. You open your parenthesis, and then in between you can have x, because 8.9 is stored in x. You run it, we'll have it as a float, getting an indentation error. Run it, we get it as a float. Questions? We are still on the basics of Python, getting to know data types, naming of variables. Anyone who has something to add on? You can add something on data types.
I'm good. I'm still absorbing.
Following. Any add-ons?
No, nothing to add on, but I mean, it's important to stress how important it is to know your data types and what they are for and what they can be. I mean, data types form the fundamentals when it comes to doing any sort of coding. So I think everyone should make sure they properly understand the differences between the data types.
Yeah, true. Okay. Let's have an operation. Let's perform an operation. And we're gonna perform an operation let's perform an operation maybe on the floats. So you can say perform operation on floats. We start by defining first our variable. In this case, I will have the simplest, which is a. I can have a maybe is equals to 10. Then I can have b is equals to 5. You can notice when I was assigning the data type integer, which is 10 I didn't have double quotation marks because I was following the principles for naming variables. So for integers, you don't have to have the double quotation marks. It's only in the strings. And a is just like a random suggestions. You can have anything, but make sure as you go down by in operation, you remember. So I can also say sum is equals to a plus b. Okay, sum is equals to a plus b, and I run that one. But now I want to get my sum, so I can have here sum. I can have here print sum, or I can have it as sum. Either way, it will run. I can print sum, which is 15. If you don't want to go all the hassle of again calling it as print sum, you can just have it as sum. And you'll get 15. And you'll have performed an operation on the float. You can say here it was 0.3. You can say it was 0.2 to make it a float because you forget the decimal. When you run it, you'll have that one 15.5 to make it a float. If I want to get to know which data type is 15.5, I'll say type sum, and it will tell me it's a float. So we've done three concepts, which is the naming of variable, assigning data type to a variable, getting to call our variable, which is stored for the operation, and getting to know the type of the variable from the output. So, anyone else? Okay, we can add more operations here and say, let's say we can have the difference. And say the difference is equals to a minus b. You can say you can have a product is equals to a. In Python, the star which is when you shift 8, the star, the one that implies the multiplication, a times b. And we can have the quotient. The quotient which is a stroke b. So when I'll go to call, when I'll be calling them, I'll have to call all of them, which is difference. I can have to call product. I'll have to call quotient. Make sure when you're calling, it's the same way that you had spelled them, keeping in mind the case sensitivity when you run. Okay, so I had difference. It's not defined. Okay, let me run it first. When I run it, I'll have everything. No, I'll run the whole cell. Okay. I have called difference. I get the same output. Products. Okay. Product is A. Must be. Yeah, it's 53. I have quotient. Like, yes. I don't know why it was only executing quotient, but that's how it's done. Questions? Yes. Yes, Benson.
Yeah. So I think the reason why it was not giving all the results is because we needed maybe to have a print.
Print. Okay.
Yeah.
You can try. Let's say print.
Some.
Have you done it on your side the same way?
No. You can just do like multiple print.
Okay. You
Do different.
can try.
Maybe you can even run those two.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, might be, but it shouldn't be. But either way, it has worked.
Yeah. So maybe and the other concern, I think quotient is the positive number after dividing a number. Maybe let's say like 5 divided by 2. The answer is 2. So 2 is the quotient. Then 1 is the remainder. So I believe instead of quotient, this is division.
Yeah, it can be anything. I just define my variable as quotient. It can be anything. It can be even that one. It will still run.
Operation.
It can be anything.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be anything. It will still give us the output 1.9. It will still give us the output 1.9. It can be anything. Okay. So we'll stop there for today. There are no questions. We'll continue with data types tomorrow. Yeah, yes, I see quotient will be into a float, irrespective if both values are int. Yeah. Anyone else with an add-on? I use print sum div product. Okay. I will use it tomorrow. It's okay. Anyone else? Okay. We can stop there for today. Good night. I've recorded the class. I will share the link.